Hello and welcome to this month's live stream. It is so nice to welcome you here for this month into our realm where fairy tales meet fiber threads. Take a deep breath as you arrive. Relax your breathing. Settle in with your favorite cup of tea or cocoa or just water, something that comforts you and keeps you warm. There's a story coming. We are going to dis discover some special things about the story and make a doll inspired by the story. I see in the chat here. Hi, Vicky. Hi, Jamie. Hi, Dina. Hi, Vicky Lee. So wonderful to see you here, all of you. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful that you're here with me tonight because the story I'm sharing is one of my favorite fairy tales. If you notice me looking at two places, we have we have our live stream on YouTube going towards the new TikTok channel live. So I'm just getting used to seeing both of those feeds at the same time. Here we are, and let's share with each other. Hi, Jamie Van, where you're logging in from, just to start connecting our circle, expanding our circle. Kind of just acknowledging locations in different places we find ourselves logging in from. Don't be too specific. Just give us a sense of our locations tonight. Something very special happens in the space between us when we gather and we share with each other where we're gathering from and how we're connecting. U City, I see here, Vikili. Thank you. Yeah, so wonderful. We connect. Oh, we have Bury in Washington near the Salish Sea. So beautiful. I am sipping my favorite cup here, and I hope that you have something keeping you comfortable too. The little candle is glowing next to the doll that is welcoming us. And I'd love to know in the chat box if you're in a corner that's your favorite corner, what is something that's next to you? The story tonight is a little longer, so if you find that you need to step away and come back to us, we'll probably still be here. Um, and you can definitely do that. Very nice. I thank you again, all who are logging in and saying hello. St. Louis as well. Thank you. Very nice. You could do anything tonight, and you chose to log in and spend time in the realm of fairy tales, magic, and fiber and cloth, and I am so very grateful for your presence and your engagement. You know, long before these stories were written in books, before there were podcasts and live streams, there were hands. We had our hands. We had the thread. We had the cloth. We had water. We had crumbs of, of little offerings in the dark. And we walked the paths with others, sometimes alone, and we discovered them. Oh, Vicky Lee, you have your cat in your lap. That is so sweet. I hope the cat will enjoy the story too. So tonight's story takes us on a walk with a girl that will take us on a journey of initiation and discover some interesting helpers along the way. If you are someone who enjoys learning the old ways and remembering them through story, you're in the right place. If you know someone who isn't here and enjoys remembering the old ways through the story, invite them. Share this opportunity for the story with them. So I mentioned to you our story, Vasilisa the Beautiful, will take us on a journey into the forest. We will meet some challenges. We will meet some seemingly dangerous situations, which we will discover will actually be portals for strengthening us and transforming us, just like initiations tend to do. And you know, every initiation tends to begin with a certain calling, something that you feel, something that sounds like a longing, something that you choose to step into. Sometimes it feels like you have no choice but to do that, but more often than not, you just feel you have no choice, but you're still making the choice to step onto that path that's calling you, where you're going to learn and discover and strengthen and transform both yourself and your world. And once you pass that journey, nothing will be the same again. So that is where this story takes us. So has anyone here who's here on the live thought of something as you're hearing your heartbeat, as you're considering the path of initiation that leads us through healing and strengthening and transformation? Is anyone sitting here and feeling a calling for a path to be walked? And you don't have to tell us all the details, but maybe share if you don't mind. Are you feeling it's a call to step into a new direction, healing, transformation, maybe clearing or releasing things that don't fit anymore? Jamie Gibson, I see your knitting is next to you. You got to the 4th row since yesterday. That's beautiful. I love that you found your patience today. So lovely. So maybe you're feeling a call to step over a threshold, to step into a new project, a new path. Maybe your body is speaking to you and you know that it needs something different, a different rhythm, a different way of being nourished and cared for. Maybe there's an inner mentor in your heart. Maybe there is an adventure calling. Well, maybe it will surprise you. And maybe you know it's there, but you're trying not to hear it. So it's good to have a journal to make a few notes after you hear a story. In our story, we're going to follow a path that takes a girl from the moment where there's seemingly no choice but to step onto that path of initiation. She's not alone, even though her mother has crossed the the threshold into the other world. She left her an important connection, a wishing doll, a protection and a connection to who she is and to her mother's love and care. She enters the forest. She finds herself with a stern teacher in her hut on chicken legs, with tasks seemingly impossible to complete. Yet she does not escape her trials. She moves through them, and she returns to the beginning of the path, completely changed, and her world changes completely as well. So when I tell you this story tonight, I want you to try really hard to not listen to the story from the earthly perspective. Try to see what is it telling you about the paths that transform, heal, and strengthen us. Try to not get attached to the relationships of the characters and their personalities. Hi, Dina. Hello. I'm so glad you're here. Try not to get attached to the personalities in the story. Try to hear the story and feel it in a way that speaks of the universal principles of an initiation journey. Try to let go of what Baba Yaga might look like and what might she be in an earthly realm. For she's not of the earthly realm. She's of the realm in between, that realm of the threshold. There are many, many things said about her, yet in every story, a hero or a heroine finds a different face of her, and it usually depends not on Baba Yaga, but on the character encountering her. How are they arriving? What are they seeking? And what are they bringing with them? So as you hear the story tonight, tap into the magic of initiation, of self-transformation that it holds. Consider the tasks that the girl will have to complete, seemingly impossible, yet doable. The task of sorting the seeds as a task of discernment. How do you discern in the world around you that which is true from that which is false? Hello, Big Cherish. How do you discern from the many things coming to your attention, seeking for you to see them? How do you discern what is valuable and what is not? What holds a kernel of truth and what does not? Consider the task of weaving as a task of weaving the tapestry of life, meeting the future, the past, and the present all at the same time. Consider the task the girl will have to do of carrying water in a sieve. How do you hold your emotional boundaries with authenticity and clarity in a way that protects you while honoring others at the same time? Huge tasks, huge questions. I told you in that invitation email that we're walking towards Baba Yaga's woods. I told you this might happen. So you are brave and you can do this because you are here. As you consider this story and its many layers outside of the realm of personalities and ego-based life, consider the question, what is part of the reason that this story survives? When huge empires fall, this story and many like it have survived them all. Because somewhere around the world, there's always someone like you, like me, like our circle here, who opens their heart to keeping magic alive, sitting, walking, connecting, striving to understand their own self and their own path while helping others discover their own path. And the most beautiful thing is when we discover that we're not alone. So it's time for the story. As you await the story, sit back and relax and maybe consider sharing in the chat what is something you remember learning from a grandmother in your life. Maybe it is a skill, maybe it is a lesson, maybe it is a saying. Maybe you've never met your grandmother in person, but you know of her. And just through connection in the invisible realm, she has taught you something. As we walk closer and further into the forest, I can share a grandmother lesson. One of many that still resounds through my life is the strength each woman possesses to change anything in the environment so it's harmonized and healed, to nourish. And even if when it doesn't look like it would be possible, she makes it happen. I wonder what grandmother lessons live in your life these days. And as you share maybe a lesson or two that lives for you from the grandmother's realm, let's maybe also connect around the forest realm we're walking through. My sense is that this year, this journey around the sun, through the seasons this time around, is the forest of creativity, the forest of discovering things that await for me to create them in my environment. What about you? What forest are you walking through these days or this year or this season? On that journey, what would your doll help you accomplish? What would she help you move through? Oh, Vicky Lee, walking toward retirement. That's a transformation in its own way. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. What would your doll protect with you and for you? Hmm. I think my doll will need to give me patience. For when you are inspired to create new things in your environment, it may be a challenge to be patient. Touch typing was impossible, but not anymore. How interesting. That's great. Hmm. We have more people joining on TikTok as well. Welcome, Anna, and welcome, T. So great that you're here. We're just getting ready for story time. So if you have your doll with you, invite your doll to listen. If you have your candle with you, maybe that will bring a little bit of glow into your space. And the story has arrived. We waited, and it's here. Long, long ago, this story arrived to be shared, treasured, and cared. And we're here now to remember it together. Oh, Jamie Gibson, trying to teach you patience. I feel that. Me too. And letting go of perfectionism. That's a big, big task. Feeling that for you. Thank you for sharing that with us. And the story says that in a certain village, across 7 mighty mountains and over 7 blue seas, there lived an old man and an old woman who had a beautiful daughter named Vasilisa. They had a small home, but their life was peaceful, full of joy, and they felt happy together. However, even the brightest of skies sometimes become overcast, and misfortune arrived into their space. The mother fell gravely ill, and feeling that her last day was near, she called Vasilisa to her bedside and gave her a little doll. And she said, "Do as I tell you, my child. Take good care of this little doll and never show it to anyone. If ever anything bad happens to you, give the doll something to eat and ask for advice. Then go to sleep, for morning is always wiser than the night. It will help you out in your troubles, and you will be all right." And giving Vasilisa a last parting kiss, the old woman crossed the threshold. Vasilisa's father, the old man, was very sad. In his sorrow, he grieved for a very long time. Seeing that Vasilisa was alone very often while he worked, he decided it would be good for her to have a motherly figure. So he married again after some years. But he did not realize that the stepmother will not bring joy into their home, but strife and struggle for Vasilisa in the years ahead. The stepmother had two daughters of her own, two very spiteful, hard to please young women, and the stepmother loved them dearly, for they were her own daughters. She treated them always with love, care, and patience, while she nagged at Vasilisa and never let her have a moment of peace or rest. Vasilisa felt very unhappy, for her stepmother and stepsisters kept calling and scolding her and making her work beyond her strength every single day. They hoped that she would grow thin and haggard with too much work, and that her face would turn ugly and wrinkly in the wind and the sun. All day long they were there, one or the other of them shouting, "Vasilisa, where are you? Fetch the wood. Don't be so slow. Start a fire. Mix the dough. Wash the plates. Milk the cow. Scrub the floor. Hurry now. Work away and don't take all day." Vasilisa did all she was told to do. She waited on everyone and always got her chores done on time. And with every day that passed, she grew more and more beautiful. Such was her beauty as could not be pictured and could not be told, but was a true wonder and joy to behold. And it was her little doll that helped Vasilisa in everything. Early in the morning, Vasilisa would milk the cow, and then she would hide in the pantry, give some milk to the doll, and say, "Come, little doll, drink your milk, my dear. I'll pour out all my troubles in your ear." And the doll would drink the milk and comfort Vasilisa and do work with her and for her. Vasilisa would sit in the shade, twining flowers into her braid, and before she knew it, the vegetable beds were weeded, the water brought in, the fire lighted, and the cabbage watered. The doll showed The doll showed her an herb to be used against sunburn, and Vasilisa used it and became more beautiful with every day in the sun. One day, late in the fall, the old man set out from home and was not expected back for some time. The stepmother and the three sisters were left alone. They sat in the hut, and it was dark outside, and raining, and the wind was howling. The hut stood at the edge of a dense forest, and in the forest there lived Baba Yaga, a cunning witch and sly, who gobbled people up in the wink of an eye. Now, to each of the three sisters the stepmother gave some work to do. The first she set to weaving lace, the second to knitting stockings, and she set Vasilisa to spinning yarn. Then, putting out all the lights in the house except for a single splinter of birch that burnt in the corner where the sisters were working, she went to bed. The splinter crackled and snapped for a time and then went out. "What are we to do?" cried the two stepmother's daughters. "It is dark in the hut, and we must work." One of one of us will have to go to Baba Yaga's house to ask for a light." "I'm not going," said the elder of the two. "I'm making lace, and my needle is bright enough for me to see." "I'm not going either," said the second. "I'm knitting stockings, and my two needles are bright enough for me to see." Then both of them shouted, "Vasilisa is the one. She must go for the light. Go, go to Baba Yaga's house. Go this minute, Vasilisa." They pushed her out the door into the cold night and locked the door behind her. The blackness of night was about her, and the dense forest and the wild wind. Vasilisa was frightened. She burst into tears, and she took out her little doll from her pocket. "Oh, my dear little doll, they're sending me to Baba Yaga's house for a light, and Baba Yaga gobbles people up, and bones and all." "Never mind," the doll replied. "You'll be all right. Nothing bad can happen to you." "Thank you," said Vasilisa, and she set off on her way. About her the forest rose like a wall, and in the sky above there was no sign of the bright crescent moon, and not a star shone. She walked along the way, trembling and holding the little doll close to her heart. All of a sudden, whom should she see but a man on horseback galloping past. He was all in white, his horse was white, and the horse's harness was of silver and gleamed white in the darkness. She walked and walked, and it was dawn, and Vasilisa trudged on, stumbling and stubbing her toes against tree roots and stumps. Drops of dew glistened on her long hair, and her hands were cold and almost numb. Suddenly another horseman came galloping by. He was dressed in red. His horse was red, and the horse's harness was red too. The sun rose. It kissed Vasilisa and warmed her and dried the dew on her hair. Vasilisa never stopped, but walked on for a whole day, and it was getting on toward evening when she came out onto a small glade. She looked, and she saw a hut standing there. The fence round the hut was made of human bones and crowned with skulls. The gate was no gate, but the bones of men's legs. The bolts were no bolts, but the bones of men's arms, and the lock was no lock, but a set of sharp teeth. Vasilisa was horrified and stood still. Suddenly a horseman rode by. He was dressed in black. His horse was black, and the horse's harness was black too. The horseman galloped up to the gate and vanished as if into thin air. Night descended, and the eyes of the skulls crowning the fence began to glow, and it became as light as if it were day. Vasilisa stood afraid. She could not move her feet, which seemed to have frozen to the spot and refused to carry her away. It felt like a terrible place. All of a sudden she felt the earth trembling and rocking beneath her, and there was Baba Yaga flying up in a mortar, swinging her pestle like a whip and sweeping the tracks away with the broom. She flew up to the gate and, sniffing the air, cried, "I smell flesh. Who is here?" Vasilisa came up to Baba Yaga. She bowed low and said humbly, "It is I, Vasilisa, grandmother, my stepsisters sent me to you to ask for light. Oh, it is you. Your stepmother is a kinswoman of mine. Very well, then, stay with me for a while and work, and then we will see what is to be seen. She shouted at the top of her voice, Come, unlocked, my bolts so strong, open up my gate so wide. The gate swung open. Baba Yaga rode in her mortar, and Vasilisa walked in behind her. At the gate there grew a birch tree, and it made as if to lash Vasilisa with its branches. Do not touch, do not touch. It is I who brought her, said Baba Yaga. They came to the house, and at the door there lay a dog, and it acted as if it were to bite Vasilisa. Do not touch, do not touch. It was I who brought her, said Baba Yaga. They came inside, and in the passage an old, nimble cat met them, and it acted as if it were going to scratch Vasilisa. Do not touch, said Baba Yaga. It is I who brought her. You see, Vasilisa, she added, it is not easy to turn away from me. My cat will scratch you, my dog will bite, my birch tree will lash you and put out your eyes, and my gate will not open to let you out. Baba Yaga came into her room, and she stretched out on a bench. Come, maid, give us something to eat, she cried out. And the maid ran in and began to feed Baba Yaga. She brought her a pot of borscht, and half a cow, 10 jugs of milk, and a roasted sow, 20 chickens, and 40 geese, 2 whole pies, and an extra piece, cider, and mead, and home-brewed ale, beer by the barrel, and kvass by the pail. Baba Yaga ate and drank up everything, but she only gave Vasilisa a chunk of bread. Now, Vasilisa, she said, take this sack of millet and pick it over seed by seed, and mind that you take out all the black bits, for if you don't, I shall eat you up. And Baba Yaga closed her eyes and began to snore. Vasilisa took the piece of bread, put it before her doll, and said, Come, little doll, eat this bread, my dear. I'll pour all my troubles into your ear. Baba Yaga has given me a hard task to do, and she threatens to eat me up too. Do not grieve and do not weep. Close your eyes and go to sleep, for morning is always wiser than the night. The moment Vasilisa was asleep, the doll called out in a loud voice, Tum, tum, tomtits, pigeons, sparrows, hear me, there's work to do, I fear me. On your help, my feathered friends, Vasilisa's life now depends. Come, come, answer my call, you're needed one and all. And the birds came flying from all sides, flocks and flocks of them, more than eye could see or tongue could tell. They began to chirp and to coo, to set up a great to-do, and to pick over the millet, seed by seed, very quickly indeed. Into the sack the good seed went, and the black went into the crop, and before they knew it, the night was spent, and the sack filled to the top. They had only just finished when the white horseman galloped past the gate on his white horse. Day was dawning. Baba Yaga woke up and asked, Have you done what I told you, Vasilisa? Yes, it's all done, grandmother. Baba Yaga was angry a little, but there was nothing more to be said. I'm off to hunt, and you take that sack yonder. It's filled with peas and poppy seeds. Pick out the peas from the poppy seeds and put them in 2 separate heaps. And mind now, if you do not do it, I shall eat you up. Baba Yaga went out into the yard and whistled, and the mortar and pestle swept up to her. The red horseman galloped past, and the sun rose. Baba Yaga got into the mortar and rode out of the yard, swinging her pestle like a whip and whisking the tracks away with the broom. Vasilisa took a crust of bread, fed her little doll, and said, "Do take pity on me, little doll, my dear, and help me out." "Come to me," the doll said. "Come to me, little mice of the house, the barn, the field, for there's work to be done." And the mice came running, swarms and swarms of them, more than eye could see or tongue could tell, and before the hour was up, the work was all done. It was getting on toward the evening, and the black-browed maid set the table and began to wait for Baba Yaga's return. The black horseman galloped past the gate. Night fell, and the eyes of the skulls crowning the fence began to glow. And now the trees groaned and crackled, the leaves rustled, and Baba Yaga, cunning witch, the sly, who gobbled people up in the wink of an eye, came riding home. "Have you done what I told you to do?" "Yes, it's all done, grandmother." Baba Yaga was very angry now, but what could she say? "Well, then, go to bed. I'm going to turn myself in a minute." Vasilisa went behind the stove, and she heard Baba Yaga say, "Light the stove, maid, and make the fire hot. When I wake up, I shall roast her." And Baba Yaga lay down on a bench, placed her chin on a shelf, covered herself with her foot, and began to snore so loudly that the whole forest trembled and shook. Vasilisa burst into tears. She took out her doll, put a crust of bread before her doll. Little doll, have some bread, my dear. I'll pour out all my troubles into your ear. For Baba Yaga wants to roast me and to eat me up." The doll told her what she must do to get out of trouble without more ado. Vasilisa listened and remembered. She rushed to the black-browed maid and bowed low to her. "Please, maid, help me. When you're lighting the stove, pour water over the wood so it does not burn the way it should. Here is my silken kerchief for you to reward you for your trouble." The maid said, "Very well, my dear, I shall help you. I shall take a long time heating the stove, and I shall tickle Baba Yaga's feet and scratch them too, so she may sleep much longer than she does usually. And you may try to run away, Vasilisa. But wouldn't the 3 horsemen catch me and bring me back? Oh, no. The white horseman is the bright day. The red horseman is the golden sun, and the black horseman is the black night. They will not touch you." Vasilisa ran out into the passage, and the cat rushed at her and was about to scratch her, but she threw him a pie, and he did not touch her. Vasilisa ran down from the porch, and the dog darted out as if to bite her, but she threw him some bread, and the dog let her go. Vasilisa ran out of the yard, and the birch tree tried to lash her, but she tied it with a pretty ribbon, and the birch tree let her pass. The gate was about to shut before her, but Vasilisa greased its hinges, and it swung open for her. Vasilisa ran into the dark forest, and just then the black horseman galloped by, and it became pitch black all around. How was she to go back home without a light? What would she say? Her stepmother would put her to death. So she asked her little doll for help, and the doll told her just what to do. She listened and she remembered. She took one of the skulls from the fence and, mounting it on a stick, she set off across the forest. The skull's eyes glowed, and by their light the dark night was bright. As for Baba Yaga, she woke up and stretched, and seeing that Vasilisa was gone, she rushed into the passage. "Did you scratch Vasilisa?" she asked the cat. "No, I let her pass." "For she gave me a pie. I served you for 10 years, but you never gave me so much as a crust of bread." Baba Yaga ran out to the yard. "Did you bite Vasilisa, dog?" "No, I let her pass. She gave me some bread. I've served you for so many years, but you never gave me so much as a bone." "Birch tree, did you lash Vasilisa?" "No, I let her pass, for she tied a beautiful ribbon into my branches. I've been growing here for 10 years, and you never even tied them with a string." Baba Yaga yelled at the gate. "Did you shut before Vasilisa so she may not pass?" "Oh, no, I let her pass, for she greased my hinges. I served you for ever so long, but you never even put water on them." Baba Yaga flew. She began to chase the dog and the cat, to break the gate and chop down the tree, and she was so tired that she forgot all about Vasilisa. In the meantime, Vasilisa ran home, and she saw that there was no light on in the house. Her stepsisters rushed out and began to scold her and yell at her. "What took you so long? We cannot seem to keep light in the house at all. We've tried to strike light again and again, and we've waited for you for so long. The one we got from the neighbors went out the moment it was brought in." They brought in the skull, and the eyes fixed themselves on the stepmother and her daughters, and everything around Vasilisa all of a sudden flashed and turned to ash. In a moment, there was nothing around Vasilisa, but she stood unharmed. She buried the skull outside the hut, and a bush of red roses grew up on the spot instantly. After that, not wanting to stay in the hut any longer, Vasilisa went into the town and made her home in the house of an old woman. One day she said to the old woman, "I am bored, sitting doing nothing, grandmother. Buy me some flax, the best you can." The old woman brought her some flax, and Vasilisa set to spinning yarn. She worked quickly and well, the spinning wheel humming and the golden thread coming out as even and thin as hair. She began to weave cloth, and it turned out so fine that it could be passed through the eye of a needle. She bleached the cloth. It came out whiter than snow. "Here, grandmother," she said, "go and sell this cloth, and take the money for yourself." The old woman could not believe how beautiful the cloth was. "No, my child, such cloth is only fit for the Tsar to wear. I better take it to the palace." She took the cloth to the palace, and while the Tsar saw it, he was filled with wonder. "How much money do you want for it?" "This cloth is too fine to be sold for gold. I brought it to you as a present," the old woman said. Tsar thanked the old woman, showered her with gifts, and sent her home. But he could not find anyone to make him a shirt out of the cloth, for the workmanship had to be as fine as the fabric. So he sent for the old woman again, and said, "You wove this fine cloth. You must know how to make a shirt out of it." "Oh, it was not I that spun the yarn or wove the cloth, Tsar, but a maid named Vasilisa." "Well, then let her make me a shirt." The old woman went home, and she told Vasilisa everything. Vasilisa made 2 shirts, embroidered them with silk thread, studded them with large round pearls, giving them to the old woman to take to the palace. She sat down at the window with a piece of embroidery. By and by, whom should she see but one of the Tsar's servants come running toward her. "The Tsar bids you come to the palace," said the servant. Vasilisa went to the palace, and seeing her, Tsar was smitten with her beauty. "I cannot bear to let you go away. You shall be my wife," he said. He took both her hands in his, and he placed her in the seat beside his own on the throne. And Vasilisa and the Tsar were married, and when Vasilisa's father returned, he made his home in the palace with them. Vasilisa took the old woman to live with her too, and as for her little doll, she always carried it about in her pocket. And thus are they living to this very day, waiting for us to come for a stay. Wow, some of you stayed for the whole story. Thank you. Let's breathe. Let's share in the chat some of the points in the story that stand out for you. So if you're still here, you will get to see how to make the doll that was gifted to Vasilisa. It is called Motanka doll. It's made without any stitches made by needle, only from cloth and thread that was pre-cut and prepared for the work, to imbue it with magic. That kept Vasilisa safe on all of her journeys and led her to the exactly where she needed to be at exactly the right time. She needed to be there. The doll we will make will not have any facial features. These dolls do not have face. The faceless doll belongs to intention. It belongs to the realm of in-between. It is also a way to keep the doll safe from being taken over by different entities. Extreme astral feelings and energies to keep her clear and connected to exactly what she is made for. Hi, Autumn Girl. Hello. We just finished the story of Vasilisa the Beautiful in Baba Yaga's forest, and we're talking about the wishing doll, the faceless doll made from cloth that kept Vasilisa safe. That's what we'll be doing now. Now, there are many ancient dolls made with magic in their heart. Some bring joy, some are made to inspire us to stay on the right path of our choosing. Some yet are made as gifts, some as blessings of prosperity, some for babies, some for long stories, some for wishes, and some to take us through troubling times safely. So as we make this doll, we have to remember we're not asking our hands to do a plain cloth craft. We're asking our hands to be in conversation with our heart and the cloth. We roll the cloth, we tie the thread, we add the herbs if we choose to. You can add essential oils, you can choose the colors. Tonight I will be using blue and white. Blue for the water, for the feelings, for the emotional realm healing. For the doll I'll be making will then carry that energy with it. You might not have pieces of cloth prepared, but you can watch and return to the recording to see the steps again, shall you forget them. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to subscribe to either the TikTok channel or the YouTube channel so that you can find replays and highlights from live streams and make your own doll when you have the time and the cloth ready. So I'm going to switch now the view of the camera so that you can see my hands working and we will work together. All right, I think you'll be able to see. I think you'll be able to see here. All right, hi Rachel, we're just starting to make the doll. Hello to you. So first, I want to tell you an important step in making the magical doll, the one like the doll that kept Vasilisa safe on her journey, is the step of preparation. And as you could see, the journey took us through a very, very intense journey of initiation. And when you prepare for such a journey, you need to prepare carefully. So we also prepare to make the doll. For when we sit down to make the doll, we shall not be using scissors or needles. So everything needs to be prepared and pre-cut. So I have pieces of cloth that I cut before sitting down to work. as well as pieces of thread that I have cut before sitting down to work. We are reminded how important preparation is on all our journeys. And then we begin. I'm using cotton cloth pieces, and I'm using 4-inch squares of blue and then strips of white that are about 2 inches wide at different lengths, and a few strips of white and some blue cotton thread for tying. And I'm choosing to make the doll small so she fits into the palm of my hand. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm choosing blue and white for their correspondence with the elements of water and spirit. And you will choose different colors for different correspondences that are meaningful to you. So if you have your fabric, you will want to work with me. If you don't have your fabric, that's okay. You can watch and work on it later. Wisdom and guidance, courage and love, light and truth. Wisdom and guidance, courage and love, light and truth. Wisdom and guidance, courage and love, light and truth. Wisdom and guidance, courage and love, light and truth. Wisdom and guidance, courage and love, light and truth. Wisdom and guidance, courage and love, light and truth. And now after we have rolled, we fold in half. Then we're going to use the prepared thread and we're going to tie close to the top, leaving enough that could be the head of our doll. We want to securely tie it. We put it down, and now we want to prepare the arms. We roll. Rachel, I see, I know what fabric I want to use for this. That's awesome. Do you want to share with us the colors? I was just sharing how I chose white and blue for this one. If you'd like to share colors with us, that would be great. If you don't mind. So the arms go in next. And of course, you don't have to use cotton fabric. You can use other types of cloth too. So once you put in the arms, you're going to use the same thread. You're going to go from shoulder across, and from shoulder across, like this. And you're going to tie on the back. This is the front. You're going to tie in the back. Oh, green. Yes. Green would be great. To me, green can be abundance, or it could be healing. Could also be mystery. Could be strength. What is it to you? What what energy will it bring to your doll? So now we have the arms, and we're ready for the dress. Depending on how the arms look when you make them, you might want to consider having little ties here, especially if you make the doll larger. Might want to give her little ties. They might even, maybe this way. Let me show you. You might want to put them like ribbons, as if she has ribbons around the edge of her sleeve. Like this. Remember, you can't cut. So you have to prepare all of this ahead of time before you're making your doll. So if you want, you can do something like that. I didn't do that on this one. I'm just showing you. When I make larger dolls, I like to do that with beautiful, pretty ribbons. Abundance and earth. Yes, Rachel, I agree. You might want to make her larger and put maybe a crystal inside, or even some herbs in her arms. Oh, that would be a beautiful abundance doll. Right, now we want to give her skirt. So we want to make our doll beautiful, even though this doll is not a doll you show to others. Now, if you make a prosperity doll that's larger, she can be decorative. She can sit out and she may actually enjoy being seen. But dolls like the one in Vasilis's story that are guides and advisors and magical helpers, they are not shown to others. They still love to be beautiful. We still want to make them as lovely as we can. They love to also receive gifts, especially after helping with a very challenging task like sorting peas from poppy seeds. She would love to receive a poppy seed or two, or maybe a bead sewn to her dress, or a wish, or a song you sing to her. They love to be in relationship with us. They are like friends because our relationship to them keeps us connected to those who made them for us. And when we make them for ourselves, our relationship to them keeps us connected to that inner self that has the answers we may think we need to find elsewhere. It'd be great to know in the chat if anyone here tonight is inspired to make a doll, and if you also are starting to think of a color like Rachel shared, green, and the earth element that you consider making. I'd love to know that. Now, how to do the upper part. You fold your square piece of fabric, and this can be a different color. You don't have to make it the same color. I'm just making this one all blue because of that water element relationship and emotional healing that I'm considering while I'm making her. So you want to fold the fabric flat down first over the top of the head, and then you will bring this corner down, and so this goes down and then this goes over. So down, and this goes over the shoulder like this. And here again, down by the forehead and over the shoulder. And then you use your fingers to fix that a little. But remember, she does like to be pretty. She likes to be beautiful. Maybe you can make her a little headband. She might want a little headband. I'm thinking this might want a little golden yellow headband. She would love that, I think. Oh yes, Rachel, a brown piece of cloth. She would be very earthy. Remember not to use needles on your dolls. So if you want to embroider anything, do that before you start making the doll. If you want to gift her a charm or a bead, thread it onto a piece of thread that you can maybe tie around or wrap around her waist. Do not use needles and scissors in making or in gifting your dolls. So this one has a white belt. I'm going to use this blue thread for the belt for the second doll here. Because I'm thinking of giving this one a little different thing. I want to give her a white scarf and a golden headband. Now her golden headband can't happen tonight because I'm just thinking she would like that now. I did not prepare it and I can't use scissors in the time of this magical making. So that will have to wait and be a gift for her on another occasion. And this I'm going to put inside her dress, and it might be used to tie beads that I will gift her. So for right now, I'm going to tuck this inside her dress. But it's left long so that I can put gifts on it for her when I want to give her a gift. Now, a good way to practice is to make one that's not magical, to pre-plan your materials, for example, to learn how much cloth you may want, how big of a piece you want to cut. So make one that's not magical, that you're going to assemble and disassemble and learn with. And then prepare the special cloth that you want to use for the doll. Let's see. So I think I will gift this doll this card. And later I want to gift her a golden headband and a charm. But those are not ready now, so those will be gifts at another time. Now these dolls, Vicky Lee, thinking of using some golden orange fabric that you have. Oh, those would be so bright. Yeah, so many ways to correlate to golden orange. Jamie Van, you'll be making one with purple cloth in your bin. Wow, I kind of want to see all of these dolls, but if they are going to be made for fun, share them. If they're going to be made for your special doll helpers, don't share them. Just tell me about them, because remember, your helpers are your helpers. And remember to take good care of them, to speak to them, to pour your worries into their ear, to go to sleep afterwards, so that in the morning your questions find answers that they need. So if this evening helped you remember something, be inspired to do something, I am so grateful and would love to hear what you discover and create and birth into being in the coming days. We have two healers here. I was not sure what the blue will look like, but it feels very watery, exactly what I needed, exactly what I had in mind. As we see in the story, the initiate learns something that on the surface might be very simple, but changes everything. At the same time, she was never alone. Not only did she have her doll in her pocket, she had her mother and her ancestors in her heart and spirit. She had helpers who felt her kindness and returned it in kind, even in Baba Yaga's hut. And it's interesting to ponder, who was that old woman that gave her shelter after everything had changed? The old woman that knew to take that beautiful cloth to the palace instead of selling it for gold. And she always had fire of love glowing in her heart. So may you too carry your light bravely and strongly. May you always know that you're not alone, that you're supported, that you have friends around you, that your ancestors are with you, that your kind, good deeds are being returned in kind exactly at the right time. Thank you for being here for our monthly Magic of Fairy Tales and Fiber Threads live stream. Watch your email to know when the next one comes. And I will see you soon, where fairy tales meet fiber threads. As we close our time together, drop a note as you leave in the chat box. Share something that this evening brought to your mind or inspiration. Thank you, Wiki Lee. I love that you enjoyed the story. Thank you, Jamie Gibson. Thank you. Thank you, Rachel. I'm so glad you made it. All right. All right. Yes, Vicky Lee. Her kindness was important to the outcome. Absolutely. Yes. I love her saying that morning is always wiser than the night. May the next morning bring us inspiration, wisdom, and joy. Blessings to you and yours. See you next time.